All right, guys, welcome back to the MDmedic podcast. Today, I'm going to show you guys the green flag signs to look for in a woman who is worth wifing. Let's go. Alright guys, welcome back. First off, let's give this video a like and go ahead and give us a subscribe for this channel. We definitely appreciate your love. It helps boost us up in the algorithm to get this message out to more people. Alright guys, let's get right into it. Today we're going to talk about green flag signs to look for in a good woman. A woman who is worth wifing, a woman who is worth taking seriously. This is very important, because the ability to discern a good woman versus a bad woman can make or break a man. Even in Proverbs, in the Bible, a compendium of thousands of years of human wisdom and history, it is written that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and favor in the eyes of the Lord. It is also written, however, though, that it is better to live in the corner of a house by yourself than in a whole house with a quarrelsome woman. So from thousands of years ago, it has been ancient wisdom to find a woman that's worth keeping, because it can ruin your life. You find a woman that only takes, that only detracts from you. She can ruin you financially. She can ruin your emotional state, ruin your confidence in yourself, waste your time, and really leave a bad taste in your mouth, destroy your confidence. So guys, listen, instead of getting an energy drainer who only detracts from you, find a woman that adds value to you, a woman that's worth keeping, and I'm going to show you the signs of a woman who is worth keeping. Now, as a caveat, I'm going to say these traits that I'm going to talk about, the traits that make and define a good woman, the traits that make a good woman stand out, these are only generalities, meaning there's always exceptions to the rule. You might find a good woman who violates some of these rules, or who has some of these things going in progress. A balance of probabilities. If you look for these signs in women, you're more likely to find a good woman that is worth keeping and adds value to your life than not. So, let's get right into it. One of the first traits that you want to look for a woman who is worth taking seriously, for a woman who is worth wifing, for a woman who is good for you, is a woman who embodies the traits of femininity. This means a woman who is soft, who has a friendly nature, who is nurturing, who is submissive. Yes, let's talk about that word, submissive. Now, with many modern women today, if you say the word submissive, they break out in hives, or they contort their face and look like they're manifesting a demon or something, and you need to call an old school Pentecostal preacher to cast it out of them. Listen, femininity, by definition, embodies a more soft, a more kind, a more caring nature that actually wants to be led. I will say that again. A woman who is feminine, a woman who is worth keeping, wants to be led. A woman who is worth taking seriously understands that she doesn't actually want to have to go out there and get it out of the mud. She understands that she doesn't want the responsibilities that a man has. She doesn't want to have the role of protector and provider, because in women's natural nature, they want to be loved on, they want to be taken care of, they want to be protected. Even look at the things that they find attractive in men. I'll pull up those traits like once more. I've talked about these in a previous episode. The characteristics in men that women find attractive universally, the good ones and the bad ones, are traits that basically define a man and show him to be confident, bold, being able to be a protector, being able to be a provider, being an alpha, being a dominant, which basically says it is a woman's nature to want a man that can bring these things to the table because they naturally want to be in a situation where they are led, where they are taken care of, where they are protected. I'll give you an example. Every woman, you ask 100 women, 97 of them are, if you ask them, are going to say they want a guy that's taller than them, stronger than them, makes more money than them, is smarter than them, is more confident than them, is more experienced than them. And those things are totally okay because those are natural feminine traits. Because a feminine woman wants to be led. Even the ones that are not worth keeping, the ones that are recreational use only, the women that are not worth taking seriously, they still want these masculine traits in a man. They still want things that they don't themselves have. So a woman that is naturally feminine is a good sign because she embraces her nature and she wants you, therefore, to be the kind of man that you're meant to be. She wants you to be that leader, to be that protector, to be that provider. In fact, they always want to be seen and have the spotlight on her. She's cool with letting you shine because she wants those things in you that are going to be fulfilling to your purpose. She wants those things that are going to make you a better man in yourself. You won't always have this. If you get a woman that's not feminine, you're always going to have a constant, chaotic combat, especially if you're a masculine man. Me personally, I do not want to get with a woman who is masculine, assertive, disagreeable, argumentative. I'm type A enough myself. I don't want to be with me. I want a woman who is soft, friendly, kind, nurturing, submissive, wants to be led. And a good way to find if a woman is these things, just ask her, are you submissive? And watch her reaction. If her reaction is, I ain't submissive, I ain't going to do that. What is this, the 1950s? Does this look like a Handmaid's Tale? Then you know she's probably not that. So, look for a woman that is submissive. Number 2, look for a woman that is not always seeking attention. I'll say that again. Look for a woman who's not always seeking attention. We live in an era of attention culture. And quite frankly, a lot of the reason why we have this hypergamous dating marketplace when it comes to females is because women always have an incredible amount of attention thrown at them at any given point. As I said before, it used to be that in the 1950s, a woman was happy to get a good man to approach her in person, take her out on a date, show her signs of affection. This woman would love and respect this man as long as he's lovable and worth respecting. But now, women, even if they live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, the internet connects them to the world, so they're always exposed to thousands upon thousands of guys on the internet at all times. Like, it is so easy for a woman to get 5,000, 10,000 subscribers and followers on Instagram while not even being that attractive or offering any talent, because dudes are always out there trying to give them attention, i.e. the simp culture. So, a woman that always wants to have attention on her is a woman that is really not feeling you. A woman that is really kind of expressing her ability to find more options. So here's a sign for a good woman. I personally, if I'm wanting to assess a woman, I will basically look at her social media and I will know a lot about that. She has a lot of pictures that show herself, in sexy poses or wanting to attract attention to herself. Then you know that she's probably not the kind that you want. And she belongs to the streets. She probably belongs to the streets. The women, they post on social media to get attention. They go out to clubs, they go out to bars to get attention, because just like sex is capital for a man, attention is capital for females. That is gold right there, guys. Just like sex is capital for men, attention is capital for females. So, look for a woman who's not always looking for attention. Because if you're in a relationship with a woman and she's still constantly posting sexy pictures on social media, or she always wants to go out with her friends to the club and she says, oh, it's just a girls' night, but she's still like dressing in a sexy, revealing way without you there, Basically, it means she doesn't like you that much. The reason why she's doing that is because you're a placeholder boyfriend and she's out there looking for better options. You're currently fulfilling her emotional needs until she finds a better, more dominant, more masculine option. Basically, she's keeping all her avenues open. She's keeping all of her options open. She's exploring to see if there's a better option that, might come around so that she doesn't just have to settle on you. So a girl that is seeking constant attention via social media, via going out all the time, any of these things, these are generally red flags in girls. And you do not want red flags in girls, because if you get those, you're taking an L. So you want a girl that is reserved. You want a girl that doesn't exactly want the spotlight all the time. Or if she is a woman that's used to being in the spotlight, if she is a woman that in the past, posted a lot of things to get attention, went out all the time, here's how you know that she's really serious about you. If she's instantly shutting that stuff down, she's no longer posting those sexy pics, she posts pictures of you on her social media, she, makes her social media private, or she even says, you know what, I will disable my social media if you want. But a girl that wants to defend, oh my gosh, you're just insecure because you're telling me not to post these sexy pictures. If you want a bad girl, understand what comes with that. Other people are going to want me. Those kinds of girls right there, they're speaking womanese. In one of my previous episodes, I told you how to translate womanese. Go check that out. But also, she doesn't really like you like that. She doesn't really respect you like that. Because when a girl is really into you, she doesn't want to talk to anyone else. Here's the difference. Men show their loyalty in being willing to die for a woman, in being willing to protect her, provide for her, spend his life force, his resources, his energy to take care of a woman. That is how a man shows his loyalty, right? A man can love a woman completely and still want to screw other girls. A man can go and screw other girls and still love one woman completely, and those other girls mean absolutely nothing because it's just sex. And for men, sex is almost equivalent to hunger or thirst or breathing. It's just a biological need. But here's the difference. A woman, if you ask 100 women if they're with the guy who they truly love and adore and respect, majority of them don't want to be with any other guy. Now, for women watching this, ask yourself, would you rather sleep around with a bunch of men and have meaningless sex, or would you rather be with one man that you truly love and respect and be faithful, monogamous, and committed to him sexually? Majority of women would probably choose the latter because it's in your nature. So when a woman wants to express options, when a woman wants to invite attention, when a woman doesn't want to do things that limit her attention, i.e., post a picture of you and her together on her social media, then she probably doesn't like you that much, and she belongs to the streets. She definitely belongs to the streets. So you don't want to be the guy that is stuck with her. Next quality of a woman who's worth taking seriously is a woman who has faith. Now, this is very important because out of all of the temptations and all of the wrongs and all of the options that women have to, go and express their options, to go and belong to the streets, to go and be a 304 out here, to go and, absolute just go buck wild and debauchery with all the options that a woman has. Faith is the one thing that can really keep her grounded. Faith is really the only thing strong enough to limit a woman's temptations. Let's think about it, men. How hard do you have to work in order to get a female's attention? How much harder do you have to work to even get laid once? The average guy out here, getting female attention is really difficult. And even for the top tier guys, guys who are pickup artists and who teach how to do pickup art and who actually have conferences and seminars on how to get women and write books about it, even they say that they only actually get to sleep with about 10 to 15% of the women that they approach. And that is world-class, top-level dudes. Think about this. Women, how many times does a woman have the opportunity to have sex every single day? A statistic said that the average woman gets about 1,000 sexual propositions per month. Literally, what a woman has to do to get sex is just exist. A man has to, be in shape, look good, earn a certain level of status to himself, learn game, learn how to speak, learn how to carry himself with confidence and charisma, have a certain lifestyle, have to be funny, have to have his hair done the right way. A guy has to put so much effort in to meeting the qualification metrics for a woman to even consider talking to him. But a woman, all she has to do is exist, and men are going to want to have her. So as a man, think about it. If you got offered 1,000 sexual propositions a month, do you think that you would likely at least take some of those? The answer is yes. Even if a woman only took 1% of all of the sexual propositions that they have, or the abilities to be approached that they get every month. That's guys, hitting them up in their DMs, trying to approach them at work, at the grocery store, flirt with them in public, catcall them. If a woman only took 1% of the opportunities they had, that'd still be 10 bodies a month. So this is why faith is important. Because with all this temptation out there, the only solid thing out there that can really keep a woman grounded and keep her in a moral frame of right and wrong, to even decide to still honor you and respect you, even if you are her man and you do her wrong, you take an L, you make her upset, she feels disrespected by you, she feels like you don't love her, whatever reason. There's always 100 guys out there that are willing to, give her attention, give her sexual affection, prey on her weakness. But the one thing that'll keep her loyal to you in those situations is her faith, her morality. This right here is so essential. I personally, if a woman says that she doesn't believe in God, or if she does not have any kind of religious or moral framework, that is a huge red flag for me personally. And I'm a Christian, as you guys know, but essentially, the three major monotheistic religions, so that's Christianity, that's Judaism, that's Islam, they all have the same God figure. In Judeo-Christian cultures, they call him Yahweh. In the Islamic cultures, the Arabic word for Yahweh is Allah. They're talking about the same God. They all kind of have the same framework of, Judaic morality. If you even look at the Muslims, they trace their heritage back to Abraham, just like Christians and Jews do. And their moral frameworks are all about the same. And they all are about, being loyal to one man for a woman. They're all about, being respectful, holding themselves with honor. These things are very, very important. And not only is faith good for preventing temptation, but faith is also the one thing that's strong enough to make up for a past L in a woman's life. If a woman has a hoe stain, an absolute 304 phase where she has 100 bodies on her, normally I would say do not take her seriously. But if she truly found a relationship with God, her life can totally be changed around. This isn't just cliche, but the blood of Jesus is probably the only thing that can wash out the hoe stain. So you can actually, in a lot of instances, take a girl seriously if she has a true relationship with God, even if in the past she's made a lot of mistakes, because her worldview in being a Christian, being a Jew, being a Muslim will match your leadership dynamic. Her morality will be on the same page of staying loyal to you, of supporting you, of being by your side and denying temptation no matter what. And I honestly say you cannot truly trust a woman who's an atheist, because everything to her is subjective and there's no set morality. Even the notion of right and wrong has to come from a divine creator. For there to be evil, there has to be an absolute objective form of good to contrast it against. So if you're an atheist, you have no baseline measurement of what is good. Therefore, you don't have anything to compare evil with, and everything is subjective and relative. And subjectivity and feelings and relativity can change with simple emotions. So I would not trust a woman who's an atheist. You want to have a woman who is of strong faith and of strong moral. That is a large, large, large green flag that you definitely want to look for in a woman. Probably one of the more important things. With that being said, you generally want to avoid a woman who has a hoe past as well. So, as I said, if a woman has a hoe past, she can be redeemed by a true relationship with God. But studies have actually shown that women have issues with commitment to a man if they've had a body count of more than 6. Men, on the other hand, they don't have issues with higher body counts. I dare say a higher body count for a man actually makes a man probably better for a relationship because he probably has more experience. Women want a man that has more experience. He has experienced a multitude of different women, so he understands the different games that women are going to play. So that when they try to play these games with him, he sees it coming from a mile away. But it is scientifically and biologically proven by various studies that the more bodies a woman has, the harder it is for her to bond and the harder it is for her to commit to one man. So men have a natural tendency to be able to unpair sex from emotion, right? A man could be smashing a girl and she dies in a car accident the next day and he not even think anything of it because to him it literally can just be sex. However, a woman, sex is almost always going to come with some level of emotional attachment. And when a woman can unpair emotion from sex, that is a very, very dangerous position. Because women get more opportunities to cheat, but their nature is to be naturally guarded, is to be naturally more selective because they innately understand subconsciously that their sex has a higher value. The bond that they form people has a higher value because it comes with an emotional aspect and not just physical. But when a woman is able to unpair the physical from the emotional, that is a very dangerous thing. When she's had sex with so many people that it's no longer special anymore, and she's able to unpair the emotion from the physical, that is a dangerous thing because women get propositioned with sex all the time. And this isn't just, insecurity, because that's what the feminists are going to say. You're just insecure. You're just insecure that you can't keep a girl. No, I'm being absolutely logical and using science and psychology. So, also, when a woman has sex with a lot of different men, she becomes more apathetic towards it. She stops valuing sex. A woman has a much lower sex drive at baseline because women don't have testosterone. Studies have shown that men, because of having testosterone, have a 4 to 10 times greater sex drive than women. Women, they enjoy sex, they want it, but it should be normally paired to emotion and an emotional bond. It should be paired to, desiring after the traits that are masculine in a man, i.e. a man who is strong, a man who seems to be a provider, a man who seems to be a protector. Men that show those traits should be the kind of man that elicits sexual arousal from a woman. But when a woman has had so much sex, she can actually get to a point where it's no longer special to her and becomes a thing of duty. Or she's had a whole bunch of sexual experiences and realizes that she can use that sex to manipulate men. And that's when you start having games of, I'm not going to have sex with you unless you do what I want. So generally speaking, you don't want to mess with girls that are hoes. At least not for serious relationships. Hoes are out there that can be used for recreational use only, but as far as taking them seriously, you're taking an L. And unless a girl has religion, a true moral conviction in her life, she's probably not going to be able to remove that hoe stain because the hoe stain runs deep. And as I said, faith, God is probably the only thing that can get the hoe stain out. Also, another thing that is very important to look for in a woman who is going to be wifeable is that she has a strong relationship with a father figure in her upbringing. And this just doesn't have to be, an actual dad or stepdad. This could be a uncle who was really close, that was around a lot, a grandfather, a brother, essentially a woman who, when she was growing up, had a strong masculine figure in her life that loved her unconditionally. Mind you, there's always exceptions to the rule. There's women that can turn out great that didn't have this growing up. But many, many times these women had to go through a whole lot more trauma in their life and learn the hard way to get to the point where they're at now. But there's still good women that did not have a father figure. But on a balance of probabilities, you're more likely to find a woman who is worth wifing if she has had a strong father figure in her life growing up. And this is why. Generally speaking, a dad is supposed to be the first man and, quite frankly, one of the only men in a woman's life that loves her unconditionally without wanting anything in return, without wanting anything out of her. When she grows up, she's going to interact with a bunch of men. Men that are nice to her, men that do favors for her, but with the idea of possibly getting sex or getting a relationship out of it. But a father figure, a male father figure, a familial figure in her life is going to be one of the only men that loves her unconditionally and is going to show her what it's like to truly be loved without a man wanting anything in return. A true, genuine love. And this man is also going to provide frame, a set of rules, a set of boundaries that she's going to have to live and abide by. So she's actually going to be used to having a man in her life that sets frame, that has boundaries, that says, these are your limits, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, and ultimately this is how you're going to respect me. And by having this frame, this woman is less likely to be a hoe. I'll break that down a little bit more. As I said, a father figure is supposed to be the first and one of the only men in a woman's life, and especially in the formative years of her life, who loves her unconditionally and doesn't want anything in return out of her. So that's what true love is like. And she's supposed to get that image of what true love is like from this man. But if she doesn't have this man there, when she goes out into the world, as she grows up, and she starts having an interest for boys, an interest for men, and she starts looking for love, she won't have this frame, she won't have this context of what love is supposed to look like. So then she will basically be conditioned to what love is supposed to be like based on the response of when men give it to her. And she's going to see, you know what, it seems like men give me the most affection whenever I am sexually open to them, whenever I give them sex, whenever I am easy, whenever I am promiscuous. Men seem to give you the most attention and the most love. So therefore, I think that the way that I get love from a man is by being sexual. These women usually go out and have multiple sexual partners because every time they do that, it's an attempt to say, somebody please love me. And this is the only way I know how to get loved, is by opening up my body to someone. I feel like I cannot be loved unless I open up my body to someone. And these women generally incur a whole lot of damage and make a whole lot of poor decisions. Because let's be honest out here, if a woman is offering an easy sexual experience, an easy nut, most dudes are going to jump on it. And most dudes will say anything to them, will tell her exactly what she wants to hear, sell her the dream to get in her pants. So these women are constantly, let down by men who they're screaming to get attention from. They're basically being a hoe to say, please love me. And so these guys will tell them anything, will do anything to get their nut, and then they'll bounce. And then she feels like she's just being used as a cum rag. So her self-esteem gets low, her self-respect gets low, and then basically she starts settling for some bum dudes. The kind of girls that consistently get with these absolute losers who, have long criminal records, have 40 baby mamas who take care of none of their kids. Like these guys that don't pay child support, these guys that are in and out of jail, these guys that only have a house when they're living with the girl. Like these are the kind of guys these girls end up getting with because they feel like they're not worth better because their self-esteem is so low. So they end up accruing a whole lot of baggage. And then if they do finally find themselves, if they do finally get straight and understand, wait a minute, I'm worth more than that. And wait a minute, this is the kind of man that I should get. And wait a minute, in order to get this good man, I have to bring good qualities to the table and change my life around and not be a hoe and not, just be loose out here. When they finally get to that point, they've accrued a lot of damage. They've learned the hard way. And they've had to learn by self-discovery, or they've learned by religion, getting their life straight. And, it's a really hard and long path to get there. And oftentimes these women come with a lot more baggage than if you were to just go and get a girl who grew up with the dad and was not a hoe. But that does not disqualify some of these girls. A lot of women who have learned the hard way can truly get their lives together, can truly fix it. But as I said, religion is usually about the only thing that can fix that. But, and shout out to all the girls who have found God, who have changed their life around, and who realized their mistakes in the past and have changed and become great people and actually want to offer value to a man and realize that, hey, the best life you can find is loving a man who truly loves you and giving everything you can to this man. Shout out to those women that learn the lesson and that do that. There's wonderful ones out there, and they deserve love. But in general, men, if you are out here trying to choose a woman on a balance of probabilities, she's more likely to be a woman of good character if she had a father growing up. Now, another trait that you want to look for in a woman who is worth taking seriously is a woman who is teachable. Not a woman who says, I don't need a man, I can do bad all by myself, I'm independent, I'm a boss. No, but a woman who wants to come into your life, who wants to get on your program because she realizes that in order to even be the kind of man that she's attracted to, you have to have met so many standards across the board. In order for the average woman to take a guy seriously, he has to literally become above average in almost every way. We see that Tinder study that I always pull up. Your average guy, the bottom 80% of men in terms of attractiveness, and this is attractiveness in physique, attractiveness in facial appearance, attractiveness in socioeconomic status. The bottom 80% of men, the average, the vast minority, the bottom 80% of men, the average, the vast majority of men have a 0.87% chance, a 1 out of 115 chance of getting liked by a woman on Tinder on any given day. So in order to be a man who the average woman wants, you have to be above average. And a woman who is teachable, a woman who understands this, is going to respect you more. This kind of woman, a woman who's teachable, is going to want to get on your program because she realizes for you to even be the kind of man that she's attracted to, you've had to do a lot. And remember, a woman who's teachable is going to be a feminine woman, a woman who wants to be led, a woman who actually understands that, hey, I really want a man that's going to be able to take care of me, that's going to be able to protect me, that's going to be, really my superior in a lot of ways. And that's not misogyny. That's just like objectivity. Like, a woman wants a man who's taller than her, stronger than her, makes more money than her, smarter than her, is more competent than her. And that's not like hateful at all. Like, there's nothing wrong with a woman wanting that, but the kind of guy that a woman wants is her superior in every way. So wouldn't you think in that case she would want to naturally get on his program? So you want a woman that is willing to follow your lead, a woman that is teachable, a woman who you can say, hey, this is how I want things done, a woman that actually studies you herself and says, okay, this is how he does things. This is how I can come into his life and get more on his program and make his life easier. That's the kind of woman that you want. This also kind of segues into, the last major trait that you want in a woman. You want a woman that gladly adds value to your life. I'll say that again. You want a woman that gladly adds value to your life. A woman that, on her own initiative, looks for ways to add value. She sees you get up at 5 a.m. every morning and head off to work. So she gets up with you. She packs your breakfast to eat on the road. She makes you a coffee every morning. Like, that is the kind of woman that you need to take seriously because she takes you seriously. She looks for ways to add value to you. You want a woman that cooks, cleans, and sucks dick with a smile. I know that triggers a lot of people, but what I just said there used to be a duh. Doesn't every woman do that? Doesn't every wife do that? Like 50 years ago. But now you say that, people are all like, misogyny, you hate women, all this kind of stuff. Now, listen, if you are the kind of guy that can attract a woman and make a woman actually feel like she has got something and make her feel like she has the best option in you, then you're the kind of guy that deserves for her to cook, clean, and suck dick with a smile. Listen, a woman that wants to add value to you is a woman that is worth keeping. Because if you think about it, like dumb bimbos who don't add anything to your life, who are just like, I exist, so give me attention. I have a vagina, so give me attention. You need to throw all of your resources, all of your time, all of your money at me for me to maybe give you attention. The kind of girls out here that will use you for dates and make you go on dates over and over and over again before they give you sex, before they give you real affection, before they give you any exclusivity. Like, these girls are detractors, they're parasites, they're only taking from you. But a woman that adds value to your life, that woman is worth taking seriously. She stands out. The kind of woman that understands that, you know what? I come to the table with, here's an example of a good woman that adds value. A woman who can like logically look at the situation and say, you know what, dang, I understand that this man is a man of value. I have kids from other men. I, have made a lot of mistakes in my life. I have quite the past. I come with a lot of baggage. But this man right here, like, he's a high quality, high caliber man. He earns, a good amount of money. He's accumulated status for himself. He's handsome. He's strong. I understand that for every one of him, there's probably like 100 of me. So I'm going to try even harder to add value to this man because I understand that he has a whole lot of options and that I do bring a little bit of baggage. So I'm going to try even harder to add value to him to make sure that he takes me seriously. That is the kind of woman that is worth you taking seriously. And I'm telling you, man, pay attention to women that do this. Women that will like defer to what you say. Women that will actually listen to little things that you say that you don't even think they're paying attention to. And all of a sudden, you just see it done in your life. Like, for example, a woman that, say you are, just talking to her, texting her back and forth, and you say, you know what, I like Indian food. I really like Indian food. And then a couple weeks later, you're at work, you're working a night shift, and all of a sudden she drives to your job and brings you some home-cooked Indian food that she learned and looked up a recipe on how to make. That's a woman you pay attention to. That's the kind of woman that adds value to your life. And guess what? A woman that adds value to your life, man, I'm going to tell you something. Yes, you want a woman that makes you look good. You want the status symbol, the trophy, the pretty girl on your arm. But I'm telling you, this woman right here that adds value to you, you should be more happy with the woman who's a 6, who truly loves you and adds value, than a woman who's a 10 who wastes your time and is a parasite. I'm going to tell you that again. You should be happier with the woman. You should value higher the woman who adds value to you and maybe, cute. She may be pretty, but she's not perfect, versus the woman who looks physically perfect but detracts from you. I'm telling you. Also, the woman that adds value to you, I dare say she's more of a status symbol to you. Because say you're going out with your G's, you're going out with your friends, with your bros. And, all of them, they're going out and they're like, man, I got this baddie, I got this girlfriend, she's hot, she's fine, but she gives me a hard time and she doesn't like the fact that I'm out right now, that I'm not with her, that I'm hanging with the boys. And then you say, you know what? I got this girl, she loves me, she's cute, and guess what? No matter what I'm doing, she's at home, I know exactly what she's doing, she's 100% going to be faithful to me, and she understands that me being a man, she trusts my judgment, and whatever I want to do, she's cool with it. That there is a better status symbol. That you might be going out, you may be doing what you want, but no matter what, your girl's at home, your girl's taking care of business, your girl's respecting you, she's not all over social media, and she's like 100% solid in your corner. She's in public with you, and you say, hey, can you go get me a drink? She gets up and gets it for you. She, will be quiet when you're talking to other people. She will respect you. She's well behaved when you're in public with other people. That is more of a status symbol, man, than just the pretty bimbo on your arm. A woman who truly values you and wants to add value to you. This is a woman you're supposed to take seriously. And men, I'm going to turn it around and flip the script on you. You cannot be the kind of man that expects a woman who adds value to you, that respects you like this by being a bum. You have to be the kind of man worth adding value to. In order for a woman to want to add value to you, you have to be a man of value in the first place. You don't just get a woman to want to submit to you, to want to be adding value to you, to want to love you like this, to want to give you this level of respect by just being a bum. And quite frankly, women, if you're still watching because you're not triggered at this point and you actually want to learn how to be better, and you can actually objectively listen and not just get offended by what you hear, but listen and understand that I truly mean well and I'm trying to actually give you game too. You're still listening. Know this. Always be feminine. Don't have this idea of conditional femininity, as in, I'll be feminine when I find a man that's worth it. No. Always be in your feminine. Always be a woman who is respectful, who wants to add value to a man. a woman who is soft, is friendly, who is approachable, who smiles, who is, as I said, respectful, who wants to be led by a man. But at the same time, don't get with the man who is not deserving of your femininity. So that means Lamontre, Jamarion, Taekwontrez, these dudes, the hood dudes who are out here with 100 baby mamas, homeless, no job, felonies, but they're exciting because they look like thugs, they don't deserve this. The reason why you're hurt, the reason why you feel like I'm only going to be feminine towards a man who's worth it because every time I've been feminine in the past, I've regretted it. I gave them all this, they didn't give me nothing. It's because you gave your femininity to the wrong men. You should always be in your feminine. But don't take a man seriously who you can't be feminine with. Don't take a man seriously. Don't give the man that level of respect, that level of honor, unless he is the kind of man he needs to be. You get a man that allows you to be in your feminine. The more masculine a man is, the more take charge, get things done, type A, protective, who wants to provide, he wants to make sure everything is straight. The more alpha a man is, the more you can be in your feminine. Listen, I'm trying to give you women game as much as I'm trying to give men. And men, I'm trying to tell you the kind of women that you should take seriously in your life. Because the woman that you choose in your life can make your life so much better or it can make it so much worse. And here on this podcast, we want you men to be the best, the strongest, the richest, the happiest that you can be. Have the life that you want, have the women that you want by being the best person you can be, because that's what the MDmedic podcast is all about. So go ahead and give us a subscribe to this channel, like this video. Please follow us on all social media platforms at MDmedic Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Guys, thank you so much. I love you so much. We are here to make you better. MDmedic Podcast out.